Alrighty. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Vibranium podcast. Look, it's our first podcast. It's our inaugural podcast, and we'd welcome you who's listening, and the people who aren't listening, or the people listening, pass it on to them. So the Vibranium podcast, what is it? It's just a bunch of mates. We hear people, doing and talking, talking shit. You know what I mean? We want to do that, and I think we got some pretty good backstories, and we got some pretty good war stories as well from our backgrounds and our lives. Are we old? No, but we've got enough life experience to keep you entertained. Plug into us when you're at work, and we'll go from there. So essentially, the first podcast is going to be look. I'll throw it out to the people. With me, I have Ray, Kay, and Jay. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Ray, go for it.
Yeah, man. So hi everyone, so it's Ray. A bit about me. So I won't bore you guys too much, but I'm a chartered accountant. Spend my days in an office.
And hitting the gym as well, mate. Don't look at those arms.
No, not as much as this guy, not as much as Tyrone. But no, it's so yeah. We just came together, thought we might share our experiences. Over to you, Kay.
Oh yeah, well, I just work in a bar at the moment, not much else. I've got an exercise science degree, recently finished. These boys, they're basically my family. Known these guys for 10 plus years, Ray, it's been 20 years now, so yeah, love these guys to bits. Hand it over to Jay.
Hey, I'm Jay. Just working my way through life, just like everyone else. Known these guys for a decent amount of time. As Kay said, family, you know what I mean? We've been through a lot together. We've seen a lot together. And then we've seen a lot outside.
Do, what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had tons of experiences together. So I think this will be really interesting. It'll be really good. We'd love to hear your feedback. So let us know what you guys think, any improvements, or any other topics that you'd love to hear. And anything you'd like to hear us talk about, hear our opinion about. So we'll
comment below.
Let us know.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that shit.
Right in the feels, you see this. Oh, anyway, man, that hurt.
Anyway, I think our content tonight will be enough to, sway the audience. I don't know if that's a bit of an overstatement, but we'll see. So I just wanted to pass it over to, Ray, Kay, and Jay to essentially talk about what I really want to talk about, as a brown kid, myself, how I guess my upbringing is different than me. I'm an immigrant. I moved here from, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Egypt, did the whole round trip and everything. And, as an immigrant, I didn't come here by boat. I'm legal. Don't get it twisted. I just would like to know, I guess, my upbringing. Like, my upbringing is going to be different from Ray, different from Kay and Jay. My upbringing was more, I had love, I had family. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those. Oh yeah, I got abused, whatever. And if you do, you know what I mean? Call suicide hotline. What now? Like, I'm just saying. Look, it's a serious issue. It's a serious issue, and we shouldn't make fun of it. And I've known some people, and remember from my church that guy who there was a death in the church, a suicide, and it's really unfortunate. And if you are suffering from such items or such things, get help, and don't be afraid. But on a lighter issue, I just want to know. I got that
pretty early, pretty quickly, man.
It did. Anyway, I just want to know how your upbringing was different from mine. From my upbringing, I went to a state school, didn't go to a private school. I recently just bought my house, but I bought it for my family because my mum was, she had cancer and she couldn't really work, and so my dad had to sort of go from working to sort of taking care of her. And so, they were on the pension, and, cash flow was pretty tight. So I took it upon myself, and my brother and I, we bought the house, we were proud as punch when we did it, and they're living on that, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, each of us had different starting points, you know what I mean? But we're still here today. And I just want to see, how I feel I could have benefited, I just want to see what Ray, Jay, or Kay feel. Oh, if they had this one little thing, you know what I mean? They feel like, oh, if I had this one thing that I didn't have, I would have been here. You know what I mean? For me, it was more, if I would have went to, a private school, I would have had this. I would have been somewhere else because of the networks that the private school provide. Not the education. The education is essentially the same. Am I right, guys?
Like, the education's the same.
You're buying a network. Yeah. You're buying a network. All these partners, directors, all that sort of thing. And
it gives you more opportunities.
Yeah, my kid went to this.
But you can do the same amount of work, do the same amount in your, get the better
Yeah, I mean-
the same grades, but your grades will take you further in a private school.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
business, guys. It's a
Well,
business.
essentially, no, because the private school have the networks, and then like again, I like Rami, I'm a chartered accountant, so you sort of sit there and you listen to all these partners and directors talk. They're like, oh yeah, there you go, this school, Villanova, this, and this, and you're like, wow, like. It's not because they get him a better results, because it's that network that that's there. You know what I mean? So
It's the name they have.
It's
So
the
like the
name,
universities want to take that name before they take anyone else.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it makes sense. It's a money world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? University, business, university, the government. Anyway, it's a business. You know what I mean? So I'll sort of pass it on to Ray to begin with. Chime in
Cool.
whenever, guys. So yeah, what's that one thing? My thing was that private school network. Like, I know I have it. I know I have what it takes. Although it took me a while to sort of get here. You know what I mean? I love my job, but it is what it is. Yeah, I thought if I could have that private school network, I would have gotten here quicker. That's just me. But I'll pass it on to Ray, sorry, and see what happens.
So, guys, benefits of hindsight.
It's 2020.
It's 2020. I think so. Different people have different things which they wanted to have or they thought they didn't have. But I think first thing I want to say is, and I'm sure all the guys here probably feel the same, I wouldn't want to change anything, because as soon as you change one little thing, your outcome changes everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see you guys if I went to that private school.
Right?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
The public schools got us here,
So, look, I think
It's better than America's. I'll say that.
US Australia wars. Sorry to American friends. But no, seriously, guys, one thing I could have had. Okay, let's put that aside about what I just said. But if there's one thing I could have known, I think the benefit would have been being in school. So we all graduated about 7.5 years ago, I think now, or something like that.
Yeah.
One of the benefits that would have really been useful for me was knowing that a university degree is not the be all end all, right?
Yeah.
I reckon so the four of us, we all went to the same high school together, and I'm sure a lot of you guys probably feel the same, especially you guys who are like in the year 11 and 12 right now. You get bludgeoned over the head about your vet courses, about your QTAC preferences for the Queenslanders out there. I'm sure the other states are something similar, and they really wanted to fix that stuff. Guys, let me tell you something straight up off the bat. Those QTAC preferences are nice and stuff, but unless you want to do like a medical degree or something like that, no one really gives a shit. There's many different avenues of doing this sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think if I knew this at that point, because I used to try to work my butt off, as did everyone else here. If I knew this information at that point, if I knew that getting a degree, doing this, doing that doesn't really mean anything, I probably would have. I probably would have just gone into sales straight away or something like that. And
I
at
want
least
to become a tradie.
right, or
You know
even
what I
trading.
mean?
My dad told me I'm a
brother's
tradie.
and mate, he's brazen.
He's a baller.
in it.
He's a baller. My dad told me. So guys, for those of you who don't, I'm sure no one actually knows. So from India. Well, my parents from India, Punjab. That's where my roots are from. And my dad, he's like, dude, become a plumber. My mum looked at my dad in a funny way when he said that. Looking back, probably not a bad call. Cheers, Dad. I'll pass over to Kate though.
Yeah, smart guy, that guy.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, should always listen to your parents because they got a lot more life experience than us, especially at high school age. But basically, I think high school was basically pretty pointless too in one aspect, as like they tell you work really hard and stuff to get yourself into uni, the degree that you want or whatever. Basically, that only matters if you're doing year 11 and 12. So before year 11, doesn't even matter how well you do, really.
You guys remember when I was in year like 8 to 10? I stuffed around so much.
Yeah. Like we know we have people that we went to school with.
Yeah.
And they did stuff around
Yeah, I
year
stuffed
8,
around.
9, 10.
Yeah,
And
I went
I
to school
definitely would have
hell,
stuffed
man.
around more. I wouldn't have, been an idiot, and I wouldn't have,
Lived
been
more
a
freedom
terrible
though, right?
person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have lived with more freedom.
Yeah, do
I
what you
wouldn't
want.
have
Yeah.
worried about grades. Like, yeah, I worry about grades. That's who I am. We all care about how well we do. We have pride in ourselves. But honestly, it doesn't really matter as much. It's more about having fun as a kid/teenager.
Kate, can I ask you a question, mate? So we just touched on the people who like stuffed around and stuff. But if you think about the people who who are in the same grade or even just below, just above, and you look now when I talk about success, I know success differs for everyone, but let's just make a simple look at financial success. Compare them to the high-flying, amazingly great OP school. So guys, not that young. OP system is what I'm referring to. That's going up. If you compare them to the guys
when they're listening to this.
Oh, dude, that's it. When you compare them to like the guys who were like, I'm not gonna call them nerds, but they're quite intelligent. You almost look at that and you see the guys who are stuffing around, and you would have thought, oh, these guys are jokes. They've done quite well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
they have.
Guys, we're all 24, by the way, on this podcast to give you just an indication of what's the period we're talking about.
Yeah, like guys stuffed around, and they were still nice guys. They weren't terrible people, but they did stuff around and, you know, tried to have fun during high school, and they still did very well. Like, yeah, we got this system called the OP system, overall position, which that's what OP stands for. And basically, if you get a 1, you're basically one of the smartest people that there is of that year in the state. Our state being Queensland, where, you know, you can get anywhere from 1 to 25, and 25 being the lowest. And, you know, you can still stuff around, but put in the work as well and get a good OP. And it really is about...
It's what you make of it.
Yeah.
A paper can give you one thing, but it's like... I've now recently started like sort of following Mark Rolton. He's a property magnate. I wouldn't say magnate. He's 100 millionaire. He's 100 millionaire. He's worth a lot of coin. You know what I mean? So he dropped out of school at year 10, did what he needed to do, and you know, reinvented the property options game.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that niche is, like school teaches you how to do a certain thing really well, but guess what? 50 other students in that class, times that by however many classes are in the school, do what you do very well.
And then every school,
correct
in the state.
So,
and
school gets you to do that one thing. Life, I know it's like the school hard knocks and whatever like that, but life, I guess, if you sort of go out at an early stage, because you're sort of more, I guess, give me the word, you're sort of, as a younger guy, as a younger kid, you're easier to learn things, right? You know what's right, that doesn't work.
It's like a sponge. Right?
Yeah, you're a sponge, that's it. So you sort of see what works and see what doesn't work, and so, you know, having that head start, although, you know, people say, oh, it's only a couple of years, that could be when you set off and, you know what I mean, go to the next level.
Before we move on to Jay, I just want to say one thing. School, it teaches you things. It teaches you things to learn, but doesn't teach you how to learn. It doesn't teach you to critically evaluate. It doesn't develop a mindset. So guys, if you have that, that's very important.
But I do think at the same time, it is really important when you're in school, because it does give you base foundation. Like, there's a lot of life skills that you don't learn, but there are some that you do. You know what I mean? Like, it depends on what you learn and what you study, right? If you learn basic maths, it's pretty good to get you through life. You know what I mean? Like if you weren't to study that, life would just be so much harder for you moving forward. But then if you're learning Shakespeare, no offense to anybody who likes Shakespeare, but I haven't used Shakespeare once since I left school. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't see myself using it anytime in the future. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But at the same time, if you consider like how long you spend and the amount of pressure that you put to learn poetry and Shakespeare and things like that, I'm like, maybe not so much.
Eulogies.
Yeah, exactly. Because doing presentations and stuff like that, that's very important. Do you know what I mean? But you could do it on topics that will help you build more life skills, or being more active in and learning things. Like, I remember the school that we went to had the whole, there was a farm at the top, you know what I mean? And there was people that I knew that went to the farm, and they learned a lot of skills in there doing things on the farm. That's like day-to-day life activities, spending time with animals and things like that. You know what I mean? And it's those sort of things which I feel if schools did implement would help kids to set that base foundation to kind of get through life. Do you know what I mean? Learning, I guess, education and what you end up doing and then moving forward all happens during time and throughout life. But knowing how to get through life and the basics of life, I feel like that's more important.
Jay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It sounds like, because I've always thought this, and it sounds like you're hitting the same point. If there was like a subject at school, right, and you just covered stuff like actual stuff you're going to learn, like growing vegetables and stuff, so you can grow any stuff you can eat.
Yeah.
Basics of fixing a car. Basics of even, we go around voting and stuff, but if we understand exactly what all these policies mean, right?
Yeah.
And so it feels like some practical skills class. Like, how good would that be?
That would be the greatest thing. I
Dude.
truly feel.
These people.
How to do your own tax return.
That's
How to
exactly
do
what I was
your
gonna
own, how to do sort of like your own, how to approach if you want to buy a house, how to go
Yeah.
about
The process,
that.
Yeah,
right?
or like
Yeah.
take out a loan kind
Yeah,
of
managing
thing.
finances.
Or like
Yeah.
how you said, like fixing your car, or like changing a tire.
Right,
Like
yeah.
everyone
I
has to
agree.
do that
I-
drives, but no
Not
one
many
is
people
taught
do.
how to do that.
Not many people do know how to do
The,
that.
the
I
amount
had
of
to
people
learn
that
hard
know
way.
how to change a
Yeah.
tire
Oh.
is very minimal in
Oh.
these things. And
Yeah.
like, I saw one of the signboards, you know the signboards where you like, I think it's like lowd.com or whatever that is. And then like, it's like on there and it's like, oh, how many people here know how to change a tire? Because I did. And that was like, it hit me. I'm like, the amount of people that don't know how to change a tire and will have to rely on like, you
It
know.
hurts me, man.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like simple things like that. Like even like so many people don't even know how to open the hood of their car.
Yeah.
And like, what do you do after you open it? Like, you have to check the coolant, the radiator fluid, like the oil levels, and people don't know what they should be and how to do that and what ones that each car requires.
I think to add on to that, the more concerning part is a lot of people don't even understand what comes up on their speedometers or odometers. Like, you know what I mean? Do most people even know what it means with the difference between like the cold and the hot when you look at the temperature
I
gauges?
bet you not.
guarantee
I
you
bet
won't.
you not.
Yeah, and then what do you do if it gets too hot or what if it gets too
Sorry,
really
guys,
cold?
I don't know what it means.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
no, that's okay. That's okay.
What does
We're
it
all
mean?
here to learn. We're all
Okay,
here to
okay,
learn.
tell me guys, what does it mean?
Well, all different cars will run at a certain temperature that is optimal to them. And basically, you want to keep it at that level. And to keep it at that level, your car needs the coolant that it needs. And you got to know which...
How do I track it? What am I looking at?
It's a
Yeah, no,
dial,
it's a
man.
So,
CNH.
yeah,
It's
we-
CNH.
yeah.
So is it not too hot, not too cold sort of thing? Is that
Ideally, yeah.
essentially?
To know what car requires what kind of optimal temperature, like my car I know should be between about 85 and 95 degrees. Not all cars are the same, but you know, you got to
Ideally-
find that out from a professional like a mechanic or
I think
Google
ideally, like the car will like kind of set itself in a way, and like most of the time, it's in the middle of whatever the gauge shows.
Yeah, that's
Is
right.
ideally
Fair
where
enough.
it's be.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
Question, I
going,
guess.
No, there's no stupid
but,
questions.
But you know what's funny though, guys? Like,
Hold on. He hasn't even answered the question. So what? If,
Oh, yeah,
you-
dude, what the
you
heck?
Actually, like, what is one thing that you were like, okay, you know,
if you knew at that point,
yeah.
or had,
I just went a bit of a tangent. Apologize. It happens from time to time.
Yeah,
we
You guys
digress.
we digress.
Hopefully, you guys had fun on the
It'll
way. It'll happen.
Haven't offered.
this will happen all the time.
No, but
Go
guys,
ahead,
seriously,
go
mate.
ahead.
I think I guess you guys have really built on that point without being able to bring anything new in. I mean, I thought about it like, as you guys said, hindsight is 20/20, and I think I'm pretty
You
happy
sound like a
with.
self-help book. We don't even know how to help ourselves. So, guys, it's just what we fucked up with and what we can help you guys with.
Straight up.
essentially.
Send help, guys. Send help. No, I think knowing what I know today, I guess for me, because I remember the night that I got my results from grade 12, and I realistically was almost in tears because I was so upset. I was so disappointed. Do you know what I mean? And later on, I found out it's like a matter of like 2 or 3 months thing. And if I knew that back then, I could have saved myself a lot of hate for those 3 months. Because by the time I got into my course and everything, and then looking back now, I'm like, it didn't matter. People got worse results than me and still have probably done better than I have. Do you know what I mean?
Jay, let me ask you a question. So I know when you're referring to the results, I remember that time too. But let me just ask you a question, mate. Everyone who's like at that age where, and when we're recording this, is quite relevant because a lot of people coming to the end of the exams have already reached the end of the exams.
Yeah, November.
Yeah, man.
Recording it.
Oh, those holidays are so good, guys. Those holidays, Australia, New Zealand Test cricket was amazing. That's all. Sorry, I have to put that out there. But what I was going to say is that those results when they come out, and you think you've sort of like the whole thing's over, your studying's over, you're finally free. Well, guess what? You're gonna go. You go to uni. Guess what? You're gonna be over head again. And you know what?
Except like a million times worse.
Million times worse because you have all this freedom. Guess what? There's a timetable. You have to stick with it. Happy days. Go to the pub. Go dance. You go play pool. Whatever you want to do. Let's change it even again. You finish your uni degree, and you do what me and Tyrone did, something really stupid like that, and do a CA, and he's buried with work.
I
So,
wish I was-
CA is chartered accountancy.
sorry, yeah. American friends, CPA, something equivalent. So what I'm just trying to say, guys, is don't beat yourself up. If you didn't get the result you
part of
wanted,
the journey.
it's part of the journey because at the end of the day, everyone has challenges. There's no point. You're never going to get to a point where you're like, it's done. It's all over. I can rest now. It's not like that. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
And everyone fails at points too,
Oh,
and
of
you
course.
just learn from that. And
You
then-
learn,
Do
right?
you remember when I failed that capstone exam?
Yeah, 100%.
For that written? Oh man,
Oh, yeah, the first
I
time.
got like 9 out of the whole.
Oh, yeah,
20.
but you came back and bludgeoned
Yeah,
the
I
course.
did. But then again,
Bludgeoned the course.
if I didn't have you guys to sort of, again, thanks for your support and help, right? If I didn't have you guys to sort of say, hey, look, in the grand scheme of things, it's this much. It's like, what? Okay, it's very minor.
Yeah, it's just one mistake, and you learn from that, and then you do better next time.
Exactly.
Just
So-
don't make the same mistake twice, and you're good.
Yeah.
I think it's about having that that bigger picture perspective, and that's something that life
That's what
teaches over the
doesn't- yeah,
time.
that's what's not
And
So agree.
you never really set up
Yep.
for that in that regard, because like in those sort of things, like about results and failures, that there's so little things in the grand scheme of what this world is and what our lives are and what is to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so little and such a small thing. Do you know what I
It's
mean?
tiny, mate. It's tiny. It's amazing. And you don't know that until you experience other things. Like when school's been your whole life, and you transition to uni, that's been your life. You always been
You meet different people at uni as well.
You meet different
who's
people.
Gotten to where you're at in
Yeah.
a long way road.
different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
But like as you get older and stuff, your perspective increases, and I think at this stage, and as we're getting, like we're not old, but as we're getting older, we start to understand the concept of life experience more. So guys, I think the key thing so far is really just to chill, just go with the flow. Seriously, give it your best, whatever
Obviously
you're doing.
plan. I'm not
Yeah,
saying to go out
plan,
and like
work
don't plan.
hard.
Like plan or like this is what I want to do and this and this
Yeah.
and this.
But
That's it.
don't get hurt over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, it
There's
doesn't happen.
And
Just-
so many chances.
Do what makes you happy. Like,
Straight up.
don't get forced into something that's not going to make you happy. Like,
And I think that's where it sort of differentiates between K, J, well, with K, being of the.
You read my mind, mate.
Yeah, because obviously he's not a brown kid. Obviously. K,
He's as
K-
brown as you get without being brown, though.
Nah.
Yeah. So
they're
My
born and bred
parents-
Australian though, and
Yeah.
parents were too. So
yeah. So my parents, beating me over the head. You have to do this. You have to
Yeah.
get that. You have to. And I think it's more of a prestige thing to say my son has this. My
Yeah,
son's a
bragging
champion.
rights.
My son is a doctor. Again, I'm not saying don't be a doctor because hey, I'm gonna need your help one
yeah,
day.
but only if that's what drives you.
Yeah.
Only if that's what you like and that's your passion.
Yes, exactly right. We had one kid. I think in the smartest guy in our grade. I don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
give his name
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Smartest guy in our grade.
Uh-huh.
He loved what he did.
Got ducks.
Got ducks. He loved what he did, right? And so he's
He
gonna go.
followed his dream. He wanted to be a vet, and he
Yeah.
did it.
He's
Exactly.
overseas now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
now
Yes.
travels overseas,
Exactly.
What's they
and
like?
he is.
And
a
so that's
top
because
vet.
you know your why at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because you know your why.
Well,
That's a big point that you make there, knowing your why.
Instead of somebody giving you that why.
Yeah.
Let me
And
ask
the majority of the time, it's our parents giving it to us. You know. What I mean?
Yeah.
Again, from a brown kid perspective, it's do this, get married at this point, and have kids at this point. If you're a female and you're brown, oh mate, look the stories that I hear, the pressures that you guys have, mate.
It is
look,
pretty rough.
Look, call us up, but not really. So I don't want to I don't want your dad to sort of come after me and all that. But no. In all honesty, you guys have it like really, really bad in terms of the pressures that you guys have as females.
Judgment and stuff,
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, in the Indian community, in the African community.
100%.
It's like if you're not pregnant by this, and like, look, your eggs are counting and ticking over as well. You know what I mean? And look, I'll pass it on. What did you want to say? Sorry, Ray.
Well, so I guess for me it was probably there's 4 distinct views here, and I think I feel as though I'm a mixture of what Tyrone, Jay, and Kay sort of said, and I'll tell you guys why. So my grandfather came here from India, so my mum went to school here, so she had a pretty hands-on feel about it.
Mate, your mum's as Aussie as she gets, mate.
Oh yeah. Pretty Aussie. Then my dad who came here quite young as well. I think he was I want to say early 20s when he came to Australia. So from that context, I didn't have any pressure from my parents. They were pretty chill to whatever I did. But okay, I was talking life experiences before, and we all were, and how the more you learn, the broader your approach is to life and how everything works. But I remember in year 11, I was just sitting there. I was like, okay, year 12's coming up. This is the final year of high school. This is it. This is the end of a chapter. And I put my pressure on myself then. I was like, I made this list. I distinctly remember writing this list on a white piece of paper, the stuff you use to put in the printer. And I was like, I'm going to do this, and this. I don't care what happens. That's it. That's happening. And I put the pressure on myself. I was able to tick everything off that list, but I put the pressure on myself. And I don't blame my parents or anyone. You shouldn't blame anyone. Your actions should always come back to yourself,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, look, I had to sort of do what I had to do, or else,
Yeah.
I guess as I said, my mum and dad are not of the affluent nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They're not
yeah.
the richest people, so I took it upon again myself to
Yourself.
sort of do it. To sort of go out and do what I needed to do to sort of feed the family. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was a bit of pressure for a 16-year-old and whatnot, but you know what I mean.
You
like,
grew like hell, though, didn't you?
But then it taught me like, wait,
Right.
look, this is really important. I should sort of, put this money aside to this. And budgeting sort of just came as is because it's like, well, I need to buy a house at this age. And look, I did it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, it's different perspectives. Whether would I do it again and whatnot? And yeah, I'd do it all again.
You'd make
except
the same
I'd do it.
decision every time.
I would.
Tyron, can I ask you a question?
I'd become a trader and get the cash quicker.
It sounds like, though,
Love the trading.
where you are right now as a CA, it sounds like that.
Plus, you see as a CA the income that these guys get, and you're like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
you'll see a lot of information, but sounds like it was almost built into your genes, progressing to your accounting profession, like you said, budgeting and stuff. It almost sounds like a hand in a glove sort of situation.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I knew how to do.
Yep.
I used to take care of my mum and dad's finances anyway when I was like little.
Yep.
Because my brother was a trader. He knew jack shit. So
What sort of trading would you have been?
What sort? Electrician.
Nice.
Yeah.
King of the
electrician.
trade.
I'd have just gone with my brother and just started and ruled the electrician well. Again, that's hopes and aspirations. And
No, guys. Okay, if you guys don't know Tyron, this guy is to set his mind on something, he'll blitz it. So he would have, without doubt, no doubt,
shucks.
no doubt.
This guy.
But I think that's also very important at the same time, like having that sort of like that vision and drive, like because we mentioned before how like it's really important to do what you like, but I guess Everett, as Ray said before, is when you succeed, when you put your mind to it, that is very important because at the end of the day, you are the person who drives what you achieve. I mean, you define success differently to everybody else, right? So what you define as your success is also going to be different to what somebody else will, right? But you're the person who'll get yourself there. Life will hit you, life will set you back, other people will try and stop you. But if you put your mind to it, there's going to be a way that you can succeed. It might take a long time, it might be today, it might be tomorrow, it might be next year, you know what I mean? But you can get there. You just got to find the way to get there.
Jay, what's success to you?
I think to me personally, it depends on what stage of my life that I'll be at. I think for me right now is moving forward, I want to set myself up in a solid position. I knew like growing up throughout Australia and like my parents had to work really hard to be able to get us to where we are today, and by God's grace, here we are, and we're doing pretty
success.
well. You know what I mean?
They've been successful.
Yeah, 100%. And that's really good. But I want to get to a stage where I can look after my family and everything goes okay, and they don't have to sort of go through the struggles. But at the same time, right?
Family man.
But at the same time, I was thinking of this way. I'm like, maybe going through struggles is not a bad thing. Because to build on what we were talking about just before, right? When you go through each and every stage of your life and you look back on that, right? Hindsight, right? I'm just like, maybe the pressure that your parents put on you is pretty good because it's also a drive at the same time. Because I always look back at like my parents, as same with Ray, like they weren't like super strict. They were actually pretty good, growing up, because we had like being born and raised in Australia. I think I had the mix between a brown culture and like a Western culture, and I had a good mix and a fusion of the two, right? So I think it was really good, but I still had those pressures of like a brown kid at the same time. But I look back on the way that my parents raised me, and I'm like, I'm really happy with the way my parents raised me, that everything that I went through, like, you hate it as a kid, it's the worst thing.
Mate, especially when you get the hiding.
Oh, it is, you know what I mean? Like, it's so bad, but then...
we'll talk about that next, hiding. Go ahead.
But I'm saying, like, at the same time, I look back, I'm like, my parents raised me well. The man I am today is purely based on what them, because parents play such a huge influence on what you become as a person, as a kid growing up. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. So looking back, I'm really happy with the way my parents raised me. I think they did a fantastic job, and I could never think.
And we can all say that they have,
mate.
We can all agree that.
Mate. Top bloke and a half.
Come on now.
Okay, what do you reckon, mate?
Oh well,
Yeah,
I guess my upbringing was quite different in ways, but same in other ways. Like, I guess we all had our beatings. We all were disciplined in.
We'll talk more about that next. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, well, basically... Sorry, man. Just getting a bit of a mental blank.
Mental blank. That's all right. No, like, in terms of, like, your motivations to study? Because you're a smart guy. Holy crap, you're
So
smart
guys,
guy.
I've known this guy, like Kay said, for 20 years. He
20
is...
out of your 24 years.
Yeah, 20 out of 24
long
guys.
time.
What of it? And then this guy
Yeah.
is seriously
Start
like,
of our schooling life.
the
like-
one of the most intelligent guy. Like, he'll pick up detail.
Mate, do
Like-
you remember? Do you remember he went to a extension maths class?
Oh yeah, so this guy rocks up. This guy rocks up. He gets taught by another mate of ours. Like he rocks up like a week before or something before the exam.
Oh, so we had 2 lessons before the exam.
Yeah, he rocks up. And what, you get like a A?
Yeah. So
Maths
basically,
extension.
basically,
Dude.
in our school we had
Dude.
core maths, which was just your normal maths that you
Yeah.
had to learn, and then an extension maths, which is more of your algebra
Sex
kind of
laws and
stuff.
What grade was this?
This is year 10.
Year 10.
So
Great
yeah,
year.
this
Great
is
year.
getting you ready for senior schooling and then into university, obviously. Anyway, went into the class 2 lessons before we were supposed to start
The actual exam.
do the exam, and basically I was screwed. Like, I thought, there's no way I can even pass this.
And so this
Anyway.
other guy comes in, he's like, I'll
I'll
be
teach
high
you, bro.
later.
I'll teach you,
Yeah.
You might get a C. You might
Yeah,
not.
he
We'll see.
said he'd teach me as much as he could teach me.
He wasn't
And
expecting
I
to
didn't know
do-
any of this. This is all new stuff. I'd never even done algebra before, really.
Nah,
So-
year 8 and 9 algebra, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
A's.
nothing compared to this. Like, it was trigonometry. I'd never heard of trigonometry until that day that I went into that class, which was, 2 lessons before the exam. Basically, this guy taught me as much as he could. We get our marks back for this exam probably 2 weeks later. The teacher goes up to the front of class and says, basically, the class has done very badly. He's disappointed in us as a whole of a class.
Which I don't think teachers should do. But
No, yeah, it's kind of a negative way of looking at
it's
it.
negative
You gotta,
reinforcement.
you need the positive
Yeah,
reinforcement.
it's like, look, what could I have done better to teach you
Yeah,
guys?
and if people have done not so well, you kind of should get them one-on-one and show them how they could do better.
Yeah.
That's what I think some teaching should change in the future. There's some things that they can improve. Anyway, he's basically
Nice
said,
comeback.
I want to congratulate the people that did do well. We had 7 people in the class that got A's, and he read out 6 names. 7th name, he ended up reading my name out, and I was so blown away.
Do you know anyone can do that? I bet you
like,
can.
how does this happen? I got to see it. I taught you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the other guy was like crazy. He did not understand how, he taught me everything that it should have been on the exam, and I get an A, and he
Mate, quick question for you
gets a
guys
C.
though.
Yeah, what's up?
When was the last time you had a really good teacher? It's like, wow, this guy actually cares about what like I can.
Taxational lecturer. Without, like,
No, if he, do you feel that this guy
Oh, cares
really
about me?
cared about? No, there's a difference between he was a good teacher and it's like
Ooh.
Yeah,
if
if cared about
Ray-
each student as an individual
yeah,
and
if
wanted
Ray,
to see them
Kay,
succeed.
Jay or Tyrone did something right. Again, if this guy is going out of line, like I need to sort of sit him down on what's going on. Like,
Yeah,
I have
that positive
yet, like,
reinforcement to
Yeah,
guide
I have
this
to sort of
person
be-
that needs the guidance. Yeah,
Have
Yeah.
you guys ever had a teacher?
that is so rare for
I've
me.
had good teachers.
That is so rare for me. Like, I've had plenty of good teachers
Yeah.
that are good at teaching. They're nice people, but to actually care about the well-being of their students and kind of their frame of mind and try and get them to succeed for that moment plus later in life, that is so rare, I think.
I had one.
I had one.
I can think of one,
Yeah.
and Tyrone and Ray were both had the same teacher as me. We were in the same class as each other.
Which grade's this?
This is year 12.
Oh, yes. Yes.
This would be our economics
Amazing.
teacher.
Amazing. Shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when she walked in, he's like, "Look, this class is great. It's this. My job is to get it from here to an A or
We were averaging like a C minus or D plus for
Yeah.
that
I
class.
remember you won the subject prize with a
Oh,
C or a B
yeah.
or some shit like
Cheers,
that.
bro.
eh?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's gotta change.
That's gotta
gotta
change.
And she came in. She just like, listen, I'm on your side, okay?
Yeah.
You need help. I'll stay back. I think I got 2 then.
Yeah,
My
me
other
too.
one was the business head of department. The little,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
little,
yeah.
the little old lady.
Yes, yes, I know who you're
She
talking
was
about.
actually like, if you sort of got to know her, she was like, all right, Tyrone, what do you actually want to do? I've got this, and this certificate course that can guarantee you a minimum of this.
She did
do you want to do
extracurricular
this?
stuff, eh?
Yes, she made
Yeah,
us
yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, it will guarantee you this, this, and this. And then, granted, I started that and I was like, look, I reckon I can get a better OP than what I'm doing here. I think, it's...
Move on to
I'll
something
move
else.
on. Thank you for your concern, though. And then, I think she and the economics teacher, they were one of the economics teacher before her. She just sat down and just lectured. It would be great, honey, but like, look, I say this.
And it didn't matter how well you did.
Theoretically, she was very sound.
spot on.
Critical analysis was fantastic.
Oh, she was a smart person. Definitely a
smart
smart
person.
person. She knew what she needed to know.
Imagine you go to a lecture note and into a lecture.
Open up tax legislation in the middle. Try to interpret that.
No, I was just going to say, go into a lecture, right?
Yeah, a university lecture.
Without the PowerPoint slides, and you just have to write as they say.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't
No
have the
basis.
benefit. You don't have the
Terrible.
benefit of a recording. You just go in. You're just like, oh, I missed this. Can you repeat that? It's like, well, sorry, you missed it.
Yeah.
She gave me
I
a nickname that I really didn't like, and I won't repeat because I think people would identify me that way. I won't repeat because I hate it.
the amount of exercise books we filled out.
Because
I
we
think
were just writing. We were
328
just
page exercise books.
scribes.
Yeah,
We were
and
just
hand
scribes.
cramps.
But guys, but going off Kay's question, was it Kay? One of you guys
It was a
asked.
half.
It was your question.
Yeah, what was
Tara?
the question?
The teacher that really cared.
Yeah, who-
I had
You
one
had one
other.
that chucked your book out.
Oh,
you pissed her
yeah,
off
because
that
she
much.
was the opposite. Guys, I've got
I
to
saw her last week.
Wait, is she still the same?
She looks exactly the same. I literally saw her
Where?
last weekend.
Don't say where. We talk about.
No, it's fine. It's
Okay.
fine. I saw her at the football. She sat behind me while we were watching the football.
Did you speak to her?
No, I didn't. Yes, at the Royal.
Is she still? Is
Yeah,
she,
so
is she
basic-
leaner still?
Because we're in Brisbane.
She-
That's
yeah.
not, that's
Like
not
she
a- that's
could
not a
bench
thing.
press me probably.
Yeah, she looks basically the same. Like, so, this has been... Okay, we were 8, turning 9 at the time.
Yeah.
So
Year 4 guys.
It's been... that's 15 years. That's literally
Yeah.
15 years. She looks the same.
That's
But,
amazing.
yeah, she...
That's an ability to look the
She
same.
threw Ray's book out the window of our 2-story school building. That was a very funny moment. Probably
Guys.
not at the... Well, okay, yeah, it was funny for me at the time. Probably not for Ray.
Ray was
but
like,
it's
"Oh."
funny to
became
look back.
famous, guys. I became famous. This is in primary school, not in primary school.
It
That
carried
story
over.
was at high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Some of the people who didn't know my name knew that story before. Like it was
They knew
crazy.
your name.
It was crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably an example of a teacher who I think. Looking in hindsight, maybe it's tough love. Maybe
I
it was
got a
tough
teacher
love.
that was really bad. I'll go after you. Go
I think I
ahead.
know which teacher because my brother's the same teachers. I think the one you're talking about.
No, she was a sort of sub, and this one sort of teacher
Oh, okay,
fell sick. and-
okay.
Yeah, I'll go on. With the
One
story. Go ahead.
teacher, I'm not going to say her name because we haven't said anyone's names, but this one teacher was a preschool teacher. You don't remember much from preschool. My parents used to say she really cared. I'm not sure if she's still there. I'm not sure if she's still
She
in
was
the
an old lady at the time.
she would have. I'm going to say she might have been. No, she wasn't old. She was in her 50s. So I'm going to say she's probably retired now. I want to say she's
Yeah,
probably
I'd say
retired.
so.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
I know you're talking about. I was there.
What do you think of her? I mean, do you remember her much?
Yeah, absolutely.
She was a good teacher, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
See,
Yeah, yeah.
mate, really, great teacher.
I learned so much from preschool. Like, obviously, that's where you learn
How
most
to
of the
wipe
stuff.
your ass. No, jokes.
Some high intensity
joking.
training.
No, but, you know, you
Life skills, guys.
You learn your reading and writing. Well, you start off learning that anyway.
Yeah.
But before that, you
Fun fact:
don't
I
know
didn't
so
do
much.
grade preschool, grade 1, 2. I just went right through.
And this guy became a CA.
Yeah.
You see the people hang around with?
Yeah.
Jay, what do you reckon? Teacher. Best teacher. Did you have a best teacher? Any good teachers?
I mean, we have good teachers. All have good teachers.
Great teachers.
The ones that actually put the effort into
Yeah,
care.
cared about what Jay wanted to become.
Didn't your
I mean,
mathematics
it could be-
teacher, one of them was really... Or was they brother? I'm getting confused with.
I don't know. See, the thing is, my issue is that I'm a really bad memory, and
Oh, no.
I'm sorry for any teachers who are really good.
you
but,
weren't-
Okay, so
You
none
weren't memorable
that
enough.
none that stood out.
Yeah, yeah, so
That,
that was-
you can say
that was
you
good,
were
but not great.
amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you don't have one, don't push it.
Yeah.
I mean, my health ed teacher was really good. She was really nice.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, it's not hard to like love your job when you're a health ed teacher.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty fun
Dude,
job.
It's a pretty
Right.
good job.
I'd do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ditto.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, if I could do something in that industry, that would be so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Like, you can look back and there's so many ways that we could have
Things differently.
done things differently
guys,
and
We're
push our lives to
24 though. If you want to change
The thing
things...
is, you know what I've been hearing?
Yeah.
All the teachers
Yeah.
have been female.
Oh, good pickup.
I was thinking about that before, actually.
Really?
I'm like, is there any male teachers? So I'm like, nothing memorable
I
enough
ha-
to.
well,
Well,
really-
there are more female teachers than
Yeah.
male teachers,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when we were growing up younger, like primary school.
Yeah.
It was a female-dominated industry.
Industry, yeah.
Now it's
Even
more
younger.
towards equal.
I was in a youth when I came into this country.
Yes.
Not on a boat.
I came to this country on a boat.
No. So when I first came in, they So when I first arrived in this country, I went to Corinda High, I think. No, Corinda Primary, whatever. And
You went straight into high school, man?
Wow,
Damn.
yeah. What, 8 years old? This is a very smart guy.
Hashtag baller.
Oh, no, look, it's a very late night we're recording this. We just had some drinks. And yeah, look, excuse me for that.
My mom's probably going to listen to this, and I'm going to add to it because
I'm
of you,
sorry.
man.
Jay, you're getting deported back to India.
No,
Hey,
so
go
when
back
I
to
went in
India.
and it was
On a boat.
you know how, like,
I know, board.
you get, you know how you have there's usually 2 or 3 classes of the same grade or whatnot.
Yes.
So you know the class when I was at, not the class, the school that I was at was quite small, so I only had 2 of each grade. Like,
Yes.
Okay.
Like 3A, 3B,
Yeah.
4A, 4B, whatever. It wasn't a massive school.
Yeah.
I went into 3A. It was a female, and she mispronounced my name. She called me Tomorrow. I was like,
Tomorrow.
No, she thought my name was Tomorrow. It's like it's
How the
it's
heck?
Tyrone.
You can
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, there was a teacher there, like he was a male, and you could just, you know, like, oh, the grass is green on the other side, but you were hearing music, you're hearing all this sort of fun stuff. You're like, you're like,
Oh, the
man,
class next door.
all we got to do was, you know, play heads down, thumbs up. You know, although I love that, you know, it was a way.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was like a once a month thing
was a
where
once a
these
month
guys
thing.
are like having the time of their lives at the same time as learning
Yeah.
every day.
Guys, I reckon the observation you guys made was pretty bang on, because that, like, obviously all female teachers, yeah. But I reckon if I was just going through then in my mind the male teachers I had, I reckon because like I don't know, cause a lot of all the male teachers I had pretty much, excluding substitute teachers, they were all very similar types of guys, and I thought we were pretty cool. Like I had my year 7 teacher, great guy. He loved his sport. Then I had another male teacher for biology, in senior biology. Oh mate, same deal. He liked his sport. He liked sports. I like to. Loved to joke around. And then there was and I did core maths in year 10. Now that teacher, he is a unit. Dude, and he's teaching my brother now too.
Oh,
but mate, like I felt like I got along with those guys pretty well. But I just thought
I think it's all like, especially as a kid growing up, if they're anything sport related,
Oh,
like
mate.
sport and health, like
Oh, mate.
those teachers were always like, you know,
Oh,
what I mean?
mate.
Yeah.
That's
teachers
it.
that became your coaches, did your
Yeah.
PE classes,
Yeah.
like they were the ones that
Because he sort of developed a connection outside education.
rapport building.
Yeah.
Rapport.
Which you need that with all students. It doesn't even matter what age you are, from preschool or prep they have now,
Yeah.
all the way through primary school, high school, university, or say if you're doing an apprenticeship, a trade, your mentor is also your boss and your teacher, and then you go to TAFE too.
Yeah.
Correct. And,
And
then at the job
you need
force
that
as well.
rapport also, like, as a teacher in the learning part of it, but also you got to have some kind of relationship.
You gotta love
it
your
can
job.
still be
Yeah.
a professional working relationship, but you got to have a good relationship with them. Otherwise, you're not going to want to learn. You're not going
No.
to want to go to your
No.
job, your work, your place of learning, like university or school.
Straight up.
I think at the same time, though, we have to think of this in another perspective as well, right? Are we asking too much in that regard? Because if you think of one teacher, how many classes they teach across different grades every year, if they were to build a relationship with every
And
kid,
here we go, the voice of reason.
Yeah, the guys.
I mean, is
Jay's
that-
got a psychology degree. So that's
is
where
that,
the
is
sense
that
stuff.
really reasonable to ask them?
I
Because-
think it definitely is.
Part of the job?
But then remember,
Yes.
there were,
It's-
not
it's
every kid
like
was like
quite-
us either.
quite
There were a lot of kids who weren't as nice, who weren't as friendly, and like there's also
No.
there's kids who just hate teachers, hate school, hate teaching. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's obviously hard for them to build relate. Like, I mean, you can
All
try
right,
and extend.
how
the
about we
other
say
parts,
this? Don't okay. You can't. There's going to be certain inherent limitations on what what we're asking for, but at least try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a teacher,
At least
you
try,
are a
because
professional.
Exactly.
You're
Because
taught.
the students that want to be, that want that extra, attention, that want that extra, because
They
we
won't
call,
do well.
we call them nerds, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
well,
no,
people that
no.
just put effort in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like sometimes the people that put effort in are not the smartest people in the classroom.
Yeah.
But the
But
fact
But they
is-
care
Grind.
about
You
themselves,
can
Yeah.
and
grind.
they need someone to care about the way they do that too.
Exactly. So, just try. That's all we
I mean,
ask.
at the end of the day, right? Remember, our biggest problem that we had as kids growing up, right, is often other kids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who do you go to when you have trouble with other kids?
Teachers.
Teachers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Guys,
the teachers are worrying about these, other students or kids that are, messing around,
Yeah.
and not just messing around, to the point where it's making other people unhappy. And the teachers have to worry about that more than actually kind of, teaching.
Yeah.
Like they have to worry about discipline more than
Their
teaching.
attention
And
is sort of
pretty
split.
that
isn't it?
makes
really
it
tough.
very hard for them.
Yeah.
Mate, I always say this: pay the teachers more because they
I
are the-
agree.
Yeah.
They are the backbone of this country.
Totally
Because if
agree.
Oh,
you're a
yeah.
bad teacher. You
Rubbish in,
produce-
rubbish out.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly right. So
I mean, building on that, right? We should always.
Pay them.
I feel like people.
obviously
who-
not like $1 million. 'Cause
No.
I'm becoming
like,
a teacher
oh,
then, bro.
No, but
Yeah, then I'll be a
pay
teacher.
what,
Stuff
what
whatever I'm
they
doing.
what they're owed.
It should go
Exactly,
more
yeah.
like on
Because they're not their jobs does not stop at 8 to 5 or 8
Nah,
to 3. They go home, they
marking.
go marking.
These
Yeah.
days, like emails can have more call. Like my brother emails teachers all the time. Weekends, whatever they
Oh,
respond.
it's worse than ever. Then
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
technology.
They're like accounting firm managers.
Hey, hashtag professional services,
Oh,
guys.
they are,
So
man.
far, I want you guys in the comments. Make sure you tell us firstly what you, if you're a bit older, like our age, what do you think so far would be beneficial for you, so for the young guys. I want you to also let us know that about any favorite teachers, like why you've had teachers which have been really good to you and why you think they stand out. And also, it'd be interesting to see what sort of background our listeners are. I just want to see, give people a feel for it. It'd be interesting.
Oh, good input. Yeah,
No
yeah.
worries, mate.
And I was okay. Well, enough about teachers and all that. I guess we can sort of, that we can talk
Set that
about that.
aside, yeah.
We can talk about that for a long time. And
Yeah.
the teachers that are listening, we love you. We're just talking about the ones that are not they're not the best ones. Of course, the ones that are listening to our podcast are the best.
Best teachers,
Right,
mate.
the best.
Always.
The very best. No, I just want so again back to that sort of the difference, like the pressures that parents put on us and whatnot. Going back to that point, marriage.
Oh,
Marriage is
damn.
cool. Like I don't know about you guys. Again, from brown kid to Australian to African and whatnot.
Yeah.
As an African, like I'd go to church and whatnot. They'll be like, people sort of, take a while to sort of get to know you. After that, they feel like it's like, I've got a very nice daughter. She's doing this, she's doing that. This. I was like, listen, while I do feel that, your daughter's a very nice, young lady and da-di-da-di-da, mate, I'm only 24.
Yeah,
I'm
you
so-
still got life to live.
Exactly. Well, I haven't even reached 30. I haven't really traveled much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's any other 24-year-old, but me, I haven't traveled.
Yeah, he's got to fulfill those things.
You know what I
that
mean?
he-
I've been
those
slogging
dreams.
away, trying to
Grinding.
get my mum and dad to where they
Grinding.
are today, and trying to take care of them. My brother and I haven't really had the opportunities and the cash flow that
Let your hair loose and
that-
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so now next year I'm planning with the boys,
Yeah.
in
Boys!
America. But again, it's not going to go to American Dorels. I'll visit them, but it's not. It's going to be more like it's going to be a loose.
Guys, if you like Mustangs and stuff, oh my
Look,
god.
we'll link our Instagrams down below, and I think around that sort of June, July period.
Get ready.
Yeah,
Get ready.
You better follow us that time.
Oi.
we are splurging. You know what I mean? Anyway,
I think,
but I was just gonna say, like,
I think what the thing is, right?
Yeah.
Listening to this, right? Do you know who's going to be like, oh, you think you have it tough? Imagine if you were me. The females
The
out there.
females.
Oh, the
amount of,
females.
even at our age of 24, the amount of marriage proposals that they're going to have, or they've already had, or they will have. And the
Dude.
parents'
mate.
pressure.
Well,
know.
you have a sister, so
Yeah, dude. Oh.
You'll be like, hey, why don't you not get married? Obviously, you don't have an accent. I'm just putting it on. But I can understand. Yes.
Yeah, like
that's
if
definitely
you
like,
look into our community, it's
Yeah.
like I remember
yeah.
Remy saying in his community, like at the age of 21, their females are just getting like married off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So, where do you find yourself, Jay, in this position? So guys, Jay is a Malayalam. So he's from the south of India. I'm from north of India.
I'm Ethiopian, Eritrean. The niggas that run fast. Not run fast, run long.
Long
It's always
distance,
it's
bro.
always the bloody Kenyans that get us.
Yeah,
I
all
love
the
you,
Kenyans.
Kenyans. I love you. I
Do
love
they?
your food. Yeah,
I
they're
didn't know
always
that.
Ethiopia,
Right, the
Eritrea.
Olympics, they tearing up.
It's about getting away from those endurance of the lions, not those cheeters. There's no cheeters
There's no
around there.
cheating.
It's
Yeah,
it's all about the lions.
Dude,
You
And
know.
you'll find it's all the Highland people that run really well.
Is it?
Because it's thinner air. It's like high elevation.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah, the
oxygen's more
altitude,
efficient.
higher altitude. Yeah.
I did not.
That's
No.
interesting.
And so now you know what the
No,
other people are
that-
trying to get.
there's less oxygen, so it's
So-
less efficient. So when they come back to a lower altitude, then their bodies are more efficient,
It's
then,
like
and
fighting
they can run
camps-
further.
Exactly. So fighting camps like Big Bear. Big Bear's like it's in the mountains, and so
Okay.
it's in America. I don't know where. Please don't butcher me in the comments. There's also Elevation Fight Team or Team Elevation or something like that, run by Dwayne Ludwig at Denver, Colorado, which is quite a high altitude sort of place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people now in Ethiopia obviously is quite a highland sort of country as well. But people are now, like all these sort of Olympians are like this, not fast runners, the long distance runners. They're like, all right, we can't go there and train 24/7. What we can do is get hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah.
So you essentially sleep the second half of the day, although you're not there 100%, the second half of the day you're sleeping in thinner oxygen.
So you're getting your body accustomed to it.
Yep.
Okay.
Isn't it amazing technology that allows you to?
Dude,
You know what I mean?
expensive.
That
man.
will be an
It's
interesting
expensive.
podcast when we look at technology.
Yeah,
Guys, watch out for that.
I've studied this. I could talk about this
Automation,
for
mate.
quite a while.
Automation, yeah.
Guys, watch out for that one. Especially you guys in professional services and stuff. Actually, anyone in professional careers, watch out for that because we got some interesting insights.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Jay, going back to you. So, what's sort of been is there any pressure you've had, passive or active, or is it in the back of your mind like, dude, I'm like 24 right now. I'm looking at X, Y, Z. Do you see yourself going down the marriage engagement path? Because guys, out of our group,
None of us are married. None of us are married.
But let me just say this. Jay is the most family man material out of our group.
Oh, mate, he's
Without a
well-groomed.
doubt.
And he's the cutest one.
Oh,
too. Trust me,
girls,
he's the
watch
cutest
out,
one.
mate. He's amazing.
His jawline is of
It's
the
chiseled.
gods, mate.
It's chiseled.
I hope these people never see me.
No, the Instagram's going on. You're
it's
going to see
blow
it.
up.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it
But-
out.
I'm gonna change my Instagram.
Let us know, Jay. So how do you find yourself from that perspective?
Look, realistically, my parents might be a bit more abnormal in this, as opposed to like the typical brown culture.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really pressure me, and they haven't yet. But I think it's because
Don't worry, mate. It's coming.
It's okay. He's the second born child. You know, it's always the first one's got to get.
First one's out. After's
Feeding
out.
over there.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, all in good time, right? But I think they have the same mentality that I do, and I think it's the pressure that I put on myself. That's why, like, when we talked about success before, I was thinking like, I want to succeed because I want to get to a level. Like, but I always thought about in this hindsight, right? Let's say for example, I want to marry like another brown girl, and I want to go to her dad and be like, hey,
the talk.
I would like to
You
marry.
guys
a
see what
girl."
I mean here?
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I want to go and walk into that room and ask him that with the confidence. There should never be a reason why he should say no to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, because the first thing they'll be like,
grandparents will always find something.
yeah, I know.
Like,
Oh.
you're not tall enough.
Yeah. See, the thing
He's
is,
6 foot tall, girls. By the way.
as
Yeah,
long as it's
with
within
Jay, there's nothing that you can really fault.
He's
So,
He's got a beard.
Package. He's got a beard.
I'm still trying
What?
to.
honestly,
Designer
he
beard.
looks ridiculously good with or without it. Like, he rocks both.
He's rocking design.
He
right
rocks
now.
both,
Yeah.
and he can go with either.
Yeah.
And any girl's going to be lucky.
you guys are far too kind. Anyway, back to the point.
He's blushing.
We can see that red through that brown.
You guys are the only ones complimenting me in my life.
So you're putting pressure on yourself because you don't want to. So you're basically saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay. You're saying you want to be in a position where if you're like, that's it, this is what I'm committing to. You don't want to be in a position where there's a chance of rejection. If there is a chance of rejection from the parents, it's minimal.
Yeah, and then like if it's gonna be one, it's gonna be one like that's a bit unreasonable. And it's kind of like, come on, man, you know what I mean? Like, because the first thing that any parent's gonna think of, like, oh, will you be able to support my daughter? If I can line them up and be like, look, this is what I've achieved, this is what I'm planning to achieve, and look where I am now, sort of thing. It's a confidence for them.
Yeah.
And they're like, at least they'll consider and be like, yeah, he's alright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, if I can, like, I always try and work on myself as well to be a good person for the people around me, because if they go and ask anybody else and they'll be like, oh, do you know this guy? They'll be like, yeah, he's a good boy, very good
The
boy.
auntie
doing
in your
very
community, shout out to the auntie. Wait,
Shout out to the gossiping auntie in the community.
Oh, seriously.
She knows what's up.
She knows what's up.
I need her to know that I'm good boy.
I
Is it
swear,
Saint Ethiopian Eritreans?
Oh, I was gonna go on a different plan. I was like, you know, the aunties and uncles in the communities.
Yeah.
If they were given CIA jobs, Osama bin Laden would be found.
Like this,
Bro, they'd be like, I saw him. He was over there, and because they're everywhere,
yeah.
bro. It's not. They're
That's
not
a
Australia.
security.
It's not just India. It's whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
be like, this auntie told me this auntie told me that, and that happened over there, but this is where he is now, you know? So, I think basically always be good with the gossiping aunties, you know? Find out who they are.
Become friends with them?
Yeah, become good friends with them.
Yeah.
Make sure they never hear about anything. And if you are going to do things in public, man, be smart about it. You
So
know?
any brown kids out there listening,
Yeah.
you got advice from your older brother Jay?
Be smart, don't be found.
Okay, what's your sort of
Being I'm from an Australian background.
yeah.
Well, marriage is... Okay.
When I say marriage, okay, it doesn't mean
Commitment, right?
It just says commitment.
Yeah,
obviously,
okay.
'cause-
So, marriage isn't really pushed on by my parents anytime within the near future. But
Is that because they don't have faith in you?
Yeah, but your parents,
probably.
your parents are sort of pushing you to sort of get a girlfriend, though.
Yeah, well,
Your
my
mother's.
dad couldn't care less.
Nah,
As long
your
as I'm
dad's your
happy,
mum.
that's all
Yeah,
that matters to him.
dad's
My
the
mum, you know,
She's the
she'll
ultimate
find
wingman, I tell you.
anyone that she
I
finds
wish she was on
attractive
my-
walking down the street or like in a shop, she will literally be like,
got a son.
"Oh, yeah, I got a son."
Have you met my boy?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. It's like, have
Tyrone,
you met
what you were
Ted?
saying, similarities there. You're saying.
Yeah, like it's just I can understand where she's coming from, and I can understand where each parent's coming from because it's like they want to see the best for you.
Yeah.
They want to see grandchildren as well.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
Like I think
before
Joshua, not Josh's. I think we had a friend called Josh.
Yeah.
He what is his name? I forgot. All right,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
just go on Jay. I know Jay for a fact. He what was I saying? What was I saying, guys?
Good chat, mate.
we were
Good chat.
talking
No,
about
no,
marriage
no.
and stuff.
Yeah. I'm
Hey,
like,
okay,
The
well,
mental blank. That's
Yeah.
like,
We'll come
Let's
back
see
to
this
it.
thing,
look,
guys.
look, it's
Huh?
midnight at the moment,
But,
and
okay,
like
all good,
I'll give my perspective on it.
I've had 3-4 exes. All right, just
It's not
No.
enough, clearly.
Wait, guys-
what's the 4X's? What
You have
what
4
are we talking
exes?
about?
Like 4 ex-girlfriends?
Yeah,
Boy.
what are you talking about
Oh,
here?
yeah.
My man.
Mate.
Or are we digressing
He's
too much?
been moving. My boy has been moving.
mate. We're not in year 3.
Although sometimes if you're hanging with us, you will wonder for year 3.
Year 3 is generous.
Year 3. Yeah. I think,
just
guys.
when somebody says titty, some people sort of laugh when they're at the same.
On cue, Ray loves.
So my perspective, I think, is we've all got interesting perspectives. Mine's a bit funny. So guys, I think, if I'm looking at my position, there is passive pressure. I'll put it
From your parents?
from every
community?
person
Every
I
uncle,
know
auntie in the
in my
community?
community.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, typical Punjabis.
Typical Punjabis. So I think, look, it's one of those things, right? You can't. I don't think you can criticize. You can't just say, and we sort of touched on this before. You can't say because you age X, you're gonna get married or you can't get married. You can't say because you age Y, same thing. Okay. I think it's specific to a person.
You're your own person.
You're your own person.
You gotta decide that for yourself.
You gotta decide for yourself. I also so I think, guys, the important thing from here to take away is you have a lot of pressures. You have a lot of things to deal with. You got to know yourself. You got to know where you are in your life. What do you want to achieve? You tick those things off. If you're in a position where you're ready to, take into account another person's goals, you got to spend time. You got to understand you want to spend time. If you're in the gym 7 days a week, you're working 6 days a week, and plus you got a side hustle, it's going to be hard. It's going to be bloody hard, right? Maybe in a position where
You
you're
get 1 hour in the week.
Oh yeah, 1 hour. You got 1 hour. I'm going my timesheet job code. Boom. No more, no less. But if you're in a position where you're like, you know what, I'm ready. That's sweet. But like I said, in my community, there's a lot of pressure. But that's the norm. That's not the exception. That's the norm.
So I have a question then for you, Ray.
Yeah.
So what do you do to counteract that? Like obviously, like, you haven't
The rebel.
you haven't like succeeded to that pressure yet,
Yep.
and you've kind of fended it off. So for anybody out there who's just suffering the same things, I'm sure there's plenty of people.
Okay.
What is your advice to them?
Big brother Ray time, mate.
Do more degrees.
No, wait.
Keep studying.
Guys,
Keep
okay,
studying.
guys.
No, legit,
That
they'll
is no
actually-
bullshit.
Yeah, no.
So
that's it.
Tyrone said that I study all this extra shit. When I'm looking at it now, was nice to have. Probably didn't need it. It bought me some time. That's one strategy. Another strategy is for if you got older brothers and sisters. I don't. I got older cousins. Unfortunately, I'm next in line from that perspective. But that's all good because you know why? If you got older brothers and sisters, you can lay it off to them. If you're stuffed then as well, put your corporate career up. Guys, there's excuses for days. You know what? Actually, I want some of the
Not
older
only
guys.
corporate, just general career. you know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
I'll be specific to me. What I want you guys to do, actually, it'll be interesting to see comments in our comments section. What you guys have done, the older guys, even the younger guys, whoever's been pressured, I'm sure different ages for all you people out there. Let us know what your strategies have been, because I reckon I'm starting right now. I'm starting right out of strategies here, so I'll probably need a few myself.
Yeah.
Let us know what you've done so far, because
By the sounds of it, you still have a few years before you want
Mate,
to.
I'm
you
taking
need all the help you
hooks
can
and
get.
crosses, man. I'm trying to defend
Mate,
this stuff, going around a boxing ring.
He's going.
You might have to
he's
run
rolling
away
with
to
the
the circus.
punches.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Oh, mate, put me through hoops, man.
Weaving
Fire.
and ducking, you know. Like,
Oh, mate,
Weaving
weaving,
and
ducking,
ducking.
all the rest of it, man. Slipping, trying to throw an encounter. But yeah, so that's sort of been my position. So it's quite interesting, guys. It looks like there are some similarities, but there are some distinctions too.
Yeah, in terms of like the marriage thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can understand. Like, you know what I hate though?
Yeah.
You're like, look, I might marry this girl, or like you're obviously you're not going to go out and go straight away. But
I can walk up to her.
listen
I am
to
going
me.
to marry you.
No, so obviously you're going to have a friend that you're like, I can see you sort of living with this individual. And some Bojo, Joe Blow, comes from Melbourne. You're like, you're just like,
Guys, you know what? I just
and
want
you're
to
like,
say,
I just needed to do X, Y, and Z.
You would be there.
And then, this could have been us.
It's like the home stretch, man. And
Guys,
And then some
Yeah.
Bojo that's already there from
He's
Melbourne
just hitting the
or
nos,
from,
you know what
from,
I mean?
from Brisbane, wherever he's from. He comes in, picks her up, and I'm just like,
he's gone.
but that's my. I cultivated that. I made sure she was obedient. I made sure she was not. I was the one that showed
Did
her
she
cry
tick your
on.
boxes,
I
right?
was the one. I imagine this. Like you were. You built all this. Let's say clay. What do you call?
You like a potter.
You molded
a potter.
it. You molded it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
English, not my first language, obviously. You
Mold that clay, yeah.
Mold that clay. Thanks again.
The relationships, right?
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, moody. Okay, I can handle this. Looks all right, not that great, but I'm not. No, listen. Oh, no.
All of
Because
camera, like-
majority of the time, right? Majority of the time, females. Again, from my experience, if this is wrong, please hit me up. I'd love to date you.
Oh, that's so funny.
No, listen.
He's ready. He's ready for that marriage.
No.
But-
No.
yeah,
But majority of the time, the better looking ones know what they're worth. And,
They know their
they
worth.
really sort of take you for a ride. And so, what I usually go for, my sort of personal picks, is one that's like sort of close into the church and is quite humbled, and you know what I mean. Like me, I'm humble.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know.
Yeah,
You tell
yes,
me.
yes,
Yeah, 100%.
yes.
Without a doubt.
I feel like I'm sort of.
Down to earth, mate.
Look, I don't sort of say I have this, I have that, I have this. I'm grateful for where I'm at, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But what I want to sort of get to is like, I wouldn't say I molded her, but like obviously I
You-
molded
you had
myself.
the chemistry there.
Yes, I molded myself and I
chemistry
changed
there.
myself and whatever. She changed to me. Whatever it may be, we
You
got
have
to
a
a certain
team.
point and like
Yeah.
we were pretty chill. We were talking. We were doing all sorts of things, and then all of a sudden, comes from Melbourne, picks her up. I'm just like,
Melbourne is a dog city,
Can
guys.
I ask a question?
yeah, go.
Tyrone, was this a hypothetical?
No.
No.
Oh,
Okay.
this guys, we're going to be
see.
talking
We
about
just
after the
hit a
podcast
nerve.
because I didn't know about
We
this
just hit
story.
a nerve
But
here.
so,
I was like, man.
is this
all right.
recent?
Yeah, that's my next question.
Yeah.
Is that recent?
A year ago is when she went. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, I
So-
see.
We were good mates, mate. Well, like obviously, maybe she had me in the friend zone. I don't know.
Oh,
again,
but
maybe
still, it hurts either way.
And so I didn't have the whole. If we don't get married by we're 30, we're gonna marry you. No, we.
Oh, that's the kind of pact that you need to make, though.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
maybe.
it's screwed on.
K Dog's
maybe.
advice, older brother K Dog here.
Maybe. So I think now I'm like, what's the point?
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
I think Tyrone, you're making this point, and this isn't the point I'm observing.
And I'm not like I just put this when I say I groomed her or whatever. It's like she's not my pet or anything. It's just
The relationship was there. You
exactly.
molded the relationship.
I sort of changed what I needed to change to sort of mold her, and vice versa. She did so to me, and I was just like, I can actually have a decent conversation, and it doesn't sort of predicate around her looks. It's I enjoy actually hanging out with this person. I can sit. We went to camp when we were going to like Sunday school camps or whatever. We could just sit down and just
talk. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was just like, it's cool. We played games and
Yeah, you connect.
it was like it was family.
Yeah.
And it was like, it wasn't like brother or sister. Cause,
No.
You know what I mean? I loved it. You know what I mean? Like, I loved it in terms of like,
A friend.
obviously. Like,
Yeah, you
as a
connected
friend,
with
and
her
I was
on a
like,
deep level.
Exactly. And I was like, look, I can take it to the next level, but I'm just not ready now. But is it maybe it's my fault? You guys tell me.
I was going to say
maybe
something.
is it my fault?
No,
maybe
so my dad.
Jay has a sister. He could be able to sort of tell me
Yeah.
sort of perspective.
Just
I
quickly.
don't know. My sister, I've never got to sort of meet. She was sort of, from another relationship of my dad's at America at the moment. Love you, sis, if you listen to it. Now, I don't know what a female perspective is at this point. It's just my mum's, and, it's not really sort of objective at that point.
Yeah, it's
like,
at a different time to when she was growing up too.
yeah,
Things are
yeah,
different.
Like, my mum's like 60, man, so...
Look, mate, if you
make sure, I don't know what she'll say, but
Tyrone,
it's not going to be...
the thing is this.
Sorry about that.
My dad has given me this advice. Shout out to my dad.
Date.
Now he always says, so he's from farming all the way, mate. We're farmers from back there. He always says, if you don't pick up a fruit when it's ripe, if you pick it up too early, it's going to be raw. If you pick it up, when I pick it up in harvest, if you harvest it too late, it's going to be bad. What I think, just hearing what you said, timing is critical. It's a balancing act. The thing is, guys, if you say, I'm not ready till I'm 30 or 25, or 28, whatever the number is, there's going to be opportunities which arise, which if you don't, pounce on, someone else will. Timing is critical. And this is this is a great example here about this relationship stuff we're talking about and all the rest of it. But timing is critical in general. You know what I mean? I think that might have been potentially something that you learned or observed from that situation.
I still talk to her here and there, but
it's not the same though, man.
The man's I don't know how controlling he is, so I don't want to ruin the marriage. I don't want to be what's the word? It's a
homewrecker.
Yeah. And mum, it was just, I was like,
hey, maybe it's just not meant to be. Like, there's always
possibly.
There could be that person that is meant to be for you, and it might not be her.
Yeah. Hopefully it's in America. Yeah, boy.
Hey.
Look. Any other thoughts?
I think when you think about me playing devil's advocate again, I think it also
psychology degree 101. We'll call him Mr. Psychology.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He didn't even. He was like, I was waiting.
He'll take it.
If you're going to Mr. Psychology, it's not a bad name. It could be called much worse things, you know. So I'll take it.
What's your point?
But I'm thinking, like, I guess it also depends on how she saw it, right? Like, we always think about that, but at the same time, of like,
maybe
like, she saw a good friendship. She was happy with the friendship. Do you know what I mean? And maybe it could also be. There's a couple of ways you can think of this. It could be like, she didn't ever think of it or see you in that regard as more than a good friend. Maybe she'll notice that later. Maybe she won't. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe, as just like you weren't ready, maybe she wasn't ready at the time. But then people change between circumstances. Like, maybe with you, she wasn't ready. She was like, I don't feel it quite yet. Do you know what I mean? Maybe because you weren't ready either, and she felt that. Maybe she saw your signs as well. But then when this guy came along, do you know what I mean? Because like, from my time, I've noticed with a lot of females, it's all about like the confidence in your approach. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just like, you're actively in there and you're engaging and you're like confident, and she can see, because the first thing they're gonna think about is like, will this guy look after me? Will he take care of me? Does he even care about me? You know what I mean?
You have to show that. You have to show, because I pick these things up. Seriously, guys, you have to make it evident really early on. Not too early on because you're going to come across as a creep, but make it early on enough that you don't get bro zone, which is fallen souls. Friend zoned, which is next to fallen souls. Whoa, that was devastating on social media.
Mate, he even took her out on a date. She dated an individual who was his mate at church, and he took her out for dinner, paid for everything. And it's like, my girl, like, tell the dude before.
Yeah, she tells him after he's paid for everything.
And she's like, by the way, you're not looking for anything serious. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Taken advantage of.
Can we just like...
Very sad.
Two ways. It's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Like, we'll treat you right when, we expect to be, communicated openly to. And at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, you guys have expectations. Please, that only comes without open communication. And I just felt for him because he's such a he's such a hard worker, and it was just when he got that, he was just like, no, I'm never doing it again. He'd never do
anything wrong by anyone.
No, he wouldn't.
And then just to have that happen is...
He's scared of cockroaches.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
We have a
story about that.
He's a softie, but
he's a tank. You see him on the street, he's an absolute tank.
He's actually a tank.
He's a huge unit.
He has like a massive, like all these veins
on his biceps, like absolute unit.
Bro, remember that one time he went to the cops? He's like, bro, do I need a gun license for this?
Des and Troy?
You know what would be interesting though? Because there's 4 of us guys here. Girls, why don't you tell us in the comments? What's your... Like, you just heard this story from Tyrone. Have you had similar experiences? Where do you think there's miscommunication that happens?
Maybe I didn't sort of pull the trigger.
Well, that'd be interesting to know. Do you girls think that guys need to take a more proactive approach? Or is it... Because obviously there's a risk. Tyrone, am I right in saying, do you think if you push the agenda, you're scared that you might come across as a creep or
no,
weirdo?
I just wasn't ready, mate.
You weren't ready?
I was not ready.
But that does happen in a lot of circumstances.
Does it happen?
Because I've been in situations before where females have thought, oh, this guy's into me, you know what I mean? And at the time, like, they tell me like a long time later, and I'm like, no, never. Like, it didn't even cross your mind. But like the way you say things, you know what I mean? Like, it's a very real possibility, and that's just one perspective of it. You know what I mean? Like, and the other side of it is, if you take that next step, what do you have to lose? Like, because like for me, like, developing relationships and having friendships is really key. And for me, was to ask somebody out, that's just not worth it if I'm about to lose that friendship over it, because that friendship means a whole lot more to me.
Shit gets
than,
awkward.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it does, and your friendship will never be like people can say it'll be the same, but it'll never be the same.
Can I ask you a question, though, Jay?
Yeah.
You're risking a potential friendship, but you're also risking a huge gain. Is that gain and is that lack?
Yeah, well, he's measured that up.
You measured it up. You always thought
That's been measured up.
Yeah.
So you've always thought, oh, you know what, the friendship. I don't want to potentially lose this friendship for something which could be really big. You just didn't.
We just got to do your R&D. You know what I mean? You got to do your
DD, bro. Due diligence, bro. Due diligence.
You just got to do your research. I mean, like most of the time, like if you've reached that stage in your relationship where you're somewhat confident you'll get at least a decent response, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe I'm just being too cautious in that regard, and maybe just like, for example, like as Ty said about the Melbourne guy, maybe he was just more confident about it. Maybe he was just more like approached it and took that risk.
Ready.
You know,
He had like he was ready.
Unbiased.
Yeah,
Unbiased.
Look, you won. What do you want?
Yeah.
Go away, bro.
Go away, bro. Put the repellent on.
it's like
He was ready, and I wasn't ready to, like, mate, I was still doing CA.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, mate, that would
You know
be
what I mean?
difficult.
that is not a time when you want to be.
No.
You know what I mean?
So I was like, I'm not getting married or even having a fiance during that time, and I don't want to make her wait. Oh yeah, I'll put a ring on you, lock you down, you know, like pay away, layaway, sorry.
Oh, yeah. And then you cash in later.
And then I'll cash in later. You know what I mean? And so I've had that's happened to me before. And then this is the second time that's happened. Remember my first date that I asked out for formal?
Yes, I remember that.
I asked her out. She said yes. And I was like, cool, right, but I didn't give her enough attention. And so she went away and asked
somewhere else.
another
Yeah, I remember
person.
that.
And I was like, oh well, it is what it is. So, and then obviously I asked that another individual out, and someone like it was really murky waters essentially. And I ended up going by myself. I couldn't take my girlfriend at the time because I had to pay for her everything, because her dad paid for me to go to her school's formal. So I was like, my guy, my family's on Centrelink.
No.
You're this big.
Centrelink is welfare, by the way.
Welfare, yeah. So it's like, my guy, like, I can't do that. It's like, well, you can't take it. And she's like, oh well, I don't have the money either. It's like, well, I'll see you at school.
Life is tough sometimes.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. And she ended up moving to Canberra for the Institute of Sports thing. What's that thing? K-Dog? Institute of Sports?
Yeah, the Australian Institute of Sport, AIS.
So she did that as netball. Anyway, in conclusion, look, the road bumps that we've had along the way have sort of obviously formed us. And yeah, look, I'd love everyone to, I guess, have one final say of, you know, what today's discussion, so not even discussion, just today's chat, you know, well, the vibe, you know what I mean? So, like, what today's chat sort of learned from me. Mine is, maybe I didn't want the private school. Maybe I wanted the lessons that I learned today back then. Maybe that's it, you know what I mean? Or maybe that's the fact that I should have just tried to become a tradie straight away from the get-go.
I think...
So private school's like, yeah, okay, maybe not. So that's changed
fair
for
enough.
me.
Yeah, too easy.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's a case of be happy with where life takes you. I mean, we've talked so much about hindsight, what could have been, or what we could have done differently, sort of thing. But at the end of the day, like we touched on this before, it's just take everything in its stride. You know what I mean? There's going to be times where you'll fall, times when you'll drop, times when you'll fail, but it's just about getting up and moving on, because you learn so much from that. And if you don't fail, you'll eventually fail in life later in a much bigger way. Having those little fails and drops here and there,
the bumps,
those bumps and bruises will.
So what would you change? What you said? What did you, from what you said in the beginning? What would you have? You still stuck by it, or nah, or
in by what I mentioned earlier? I think it's the same. I mean,
the same.
I think. Yeah, I think it's the same for me in that regard. I think it's about taking those life lessons and just running, you know what I mean? Hit the ground running and get up every time. And that's the biggest lesson that I'd tell other people, because, you know, it sucks. And like, even if I told you this now, like I told you like, this sucks, it'll be better in the future, it doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any better. But at the same time, in the back of my mind and the back of your mind, you'll know that, hey, you know, it'll be okay later on. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to put in that effort to get up and keep going. Because if you don't, that's on you. Realistically, that's on you. And you're just putting yourself down for longer. If you fall down, the quicker you get up, the quicker you can move on.
So essentially, what you've learned is, if you fall down, you're right. You shouldn't
Keep
stay
going.
down. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day,
I get
realistically-
knocked down. I get up again. But yeah, okay, I can understand that. That's a valuable lesson.
Yeah, totally agree. Life is about just, obviously you're going to constantly fail, constantly learn, and in the end, if you put the effort in, you'll succeed. But I think you really got to...
Depending on what your definition of success is.
Success
sometimes
is...
it's monetary, sometimes it's just lifestyle.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's relative to you.
Yes.
And it can be relative to the people that care about you too, but you can't really base it off them. You just gotta
it's your life.
you gotta have your own goals. Yeah, it is your own life. But the thing is, you got your people around you. Like, I've got these guys, I've got my family, as in all my friends. They're all my family. I love them. And you gotta be able
Love you too,
to
mate.
Yeah.
you gotta be able to rely on them, because so many people think that they're alone with things, especially when times are hard. And just rely on them. They're there for you. They care about you. They love you. And especially as a male, you kind of internalize so
Everything.
much stuff, especially the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to, definitely for myself, got to try and open up to friends and family, especially when things are hard, and get that help.
Hey, man.
And yeah, it will definitely help you succeed in life and with things, and you'll get places a lot easier and smoother if you do that. Just put in that effort to help
Tenacity.
yourself and
I think
find that help for yourself.
I think one word I'd describe what you just said is, and what Jay said as well, is tenacity.
Wisdom.
Tenacity. Big Ray Dog.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be hard to match.
Top, yeah.
I think, guys... Okay, no, what I said before, no, okay, what I said, if I knew during school, if I knew that then, like, it would have been critical. I think I'm going to change my answer, but something which I sort of knew at that point, but really I started implementing it recently. Guys, I think it's important to think about this. You don't want to live your life with regrets. You don't want to be when you're older, you don't want to look back and be like, I wish I did this, or this, or I wish I didn't do it. If you have anything, whether it be at school, uni, whether it be sports, whatever, if you feel like you should just try doing something with all your heart, or you don't want to do it, just act on that feeling. Because the worst thing about living life is living with regrets. Anyone can make money. Anyone can lose money. Dude, straight up. Any entrepreneurs, Gary Vaynerchuk is the pinnacle, right? So many of our listeners right now will know who Gary Vaynerchuk is. Gary Vaynerchuk, shout out, mate. But
Please share me on your Instagram.
he's successful, right? But you look at any successful people out there, they have acted upon instinct and they've changed, the way the world works. I think the key thing, which for me, and which I knew at that point, just there's some Bollywood films, man. Amir Khan, #Amir Khan, who launched there was a movie that I'm not gonna name it just in case of copyright reasons, but there was a movie which he had, and I learned it from there. But like looking at where I am now, you got to make sure that you act upon any feelings that you have about what you want to do, and you don't want to do, because the worst thing in real life is regret, without doubt.
Yeah. I think I guess if I understand correctly what you're saying, it's about going out there and getting whatever that is that you want to achieve, whatever it may be, anything in life. It's just go out there, do something about it, because you're not going to be able to achieve anything just sitting on the sideline.
No.
You've got to go out there and you've got to make that run. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get out there, get off your ass, and do something about it, because nobody will hand
done,
it to
but
you.
yeah.
But that's what separates the champions from the mediocre.
That's it.
You right?
That's it. It's
Yeah.
action.
It's the drive.
Yeah.
It's action.
Yeah.
It's
And you
action
can ask for
because-
help. You don't have to do it all yourself.
No, exactly.
But you got to do something about it.
When
You
you
can't
try
just
to
sit there.
break one stick, it's a lot easier to break one stick than it's to break 10 sticks and bundle together.
Correct.
Right?
So, it's action. You
Yeah.
you can have the greatest plan in the world, but if it's not implemented, it's just a piece of paper with some writing on it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So true. Exactly.
So anyway, to wrap it all up, I'll just sort of I just want to end it on a lighter note. We're all Premier League fans. Ray,
The Gunners!
Gunners?
With Champions League qualification this season, without doubt. That attack, Aubameyang and Lacazette.
rightio, mate.
Straight up.
We're just got to see the January transfer window, how they shore things up in defence, probably. And no, not saying it's bad, but definitely room for improvement.
Danny Welbeck's injured now.
Yeah, I know. Sad injury. He's going to be out a long time.
good
That's,
player.
that's
I
very
had him
sad.
on my fantasy team.
Dude,
Danny
take him out.
Welbeck.
Take him out. Danny Welbeck.
Well,
Welbeck's is injured, man. He got cleaned up in Sporting Lisbon.
Yeah, the Europa League, yeah.
Who do I get? He's like such a cheap
Squad
guy.
player. K-Dog, who's your team?
Oh, it's Liverpool all the way. The
They'll
Reds.
win.
YNWA. You'll never walk
right?
alone.
You'll
Yeah.
never win a
Jay,
championship.
who do you
Look,
support?
all I'm saying
Oh.
is, by the way,
Oh.
I'm still waiting for Mo Salah to get into form this season. I mean, it's like, I mean,
Is he one season wonder, Jay?
Maybe. I'm thinking, I mean, like, we'll see next season or the end of this season if he can pick up. I've had him on my fantasy team, and I don't know, like, Hazard's my pick at the moment on currently in fantasy. But
Chelsea,
I mean, look, like, I'm not happy that it's Chelsea, but nonetheless, it's still doing me well. Better than Mo Salah is.
And
so.
your team?
United all the way.
Oh,
Hopefully Pogba
oh.
plays this weekend. We just beat Juventus, so big plays.
That
you know?
was a big win.
Huge
That was a
win.
big win.
That is a huge win. Being 1-0 down after that Ronaldo goal.
coming back.
But
And
you want to be as a team not proactive. Sorry, not
not reactive,
but
proactive.
proactive. Sorry,
yes.
again,
Pressing
this is not my
football.
second, not my first language. Anyway,
And obviously,
mine
yours,
is
Tyrone.
the Kings, the
Oh,
champions,
oh, here we go.
100-point leaders, Manchester City.
Empty heart.
Yeah?
The empty
You mean
hand.
that Arab
Those
money?
plastic fans. Those plastic fans.
Listen, man.
Wait,
I-
bandwagon.
Look, I came up with the Arab money. I used to be an Arsenal supporter.
Yeah. He
Well, that
was
hurts
sold to Man
When,
City.
when Bakary Sagna
Oh,
and
Sami Nasri?
Sami Nasri went, I was like, my
Oh.
guys, I'm sorry, these guys are my boys. I have to move. I
dude,
have to
that
move.
hurt me, man.
It's a typical LeBron fan, just following him around Miami, and
why
then
don't you spell LeBron?
How you know what? I'd be interested to see for those guys who follow football. How many guys stopped supporting Real Madrid after Ronaldo went to Juventus? That was interesting.
yes. How many
There
people
was a
followed
lot
into?
more. I thought people were like, oh yeah, Real Madrid.
I only
Arsenal
supported
away,
I only
No.
supported Real Madrid for that one game against Liverpool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we're
don't
right.
bring up those memories.
You mean like
Karius?
Yeah.
Who's Karius?
Wait, Karius, best
I'm
goalkeeper
curious
out
to know
there.
Karius.
Oh, it's okay. He's carrying Besiktas now.
Yeah, you got a good keeper now. Anyway,
He
No.
couldn't pull on the big stage, poor guy.
Yeah. Okay. So tonight's game, Cardiff and Brighton. Who you guys got?
Brighton.
Oh, it's going to be
Who's
Brighton.
home?
Matty. Cardiff is home. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Cardiff.
But
They're last.
Matty Ryan was up for the Premier League Player of the Month last season. Australia represent goalkeeper. He's on form. I think Brighton can.
Brighton.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Brighton will go up.
Huddersfield and West Ham. Obviously, Huddersfield is at home.
West Ham.
Yeah,
West
got to
Ham.
be West Ham.
Yeah.
Felipe
West Ham
Anderson in form.
Yeah.
And
Is Zabaleta playing?
what's that?
Zabaleta?
Oh, he should be. Yeah, he's captain. Yeah.
Nice.
City's
nice.
offload zone.
Yeah, West Ham's doing well this season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leicester City versus Burnley.
No, it's got to be Leicester.
Leicester.
Burnley are just
No.
terrible
Yeah,
this
no.
season.
They one season
I
wonder.
don't know if they have
Maybe I
kept a
should
clean
get
sheet this season.
Vardy then.
Vardy.
This transfer.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Madison, the attacking midfielder for Leicester,
They
is
linked
now
up
injured.
quite- Oh, really?
He's out for we don't know how long. But Vardy, sure, they don't have that creativity, but
Yeah.
they
Mahrez
didn't
is a
have
big
Madison
Where's
every
Mahrez
other.
again?
Oh.
Yeah.
Guys, this is what Mane does. You can buy. Like, we were talking about
He's in
Mane not being
Manchester
good,
City.
but he can buy a lot of things. He can buy a lot of things. Look at this.
So Leicester, right?
Yeah.
Newcastle, Bournemouth.
Well,
Newcastle,
Bournemouth, I
Bournemouth.
reckon.
It's got to be
Bournemouth
Bournemouth.
will,
Callum Wilson is on in
form,
form,
man.
and
Dude, like my work league, my work fantasy
Yeah.
league.
Yeah.
Some nigga had Wilson, and he just kept climbing. I was
yeah,
like, what's
I've
going
got
on?
Wilson on
I've
my
got Wilson
team.
too.
He's killing it.
Me
He's
too.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I bought
I got-
him the
Maybe I
game
should-
before
maybe I'll get
he
Wilson.
started doing well.
That,
No, I get
United
Wilson.
got away with Bournemouth because that's the team that played last week, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
they got away.
We were-
Yeah, they were
Sorry,
amazing.
mate. You guys won, but that could have been completely.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
we-
1-0 to Bournemouth,
Yeah.
and yeah.
The
No,
comeback
okay,
was the comeback was on.
Okay. Other fixtures?
Other fixtures. Sorry about that. I was just yawning. Southampton and Watford.
This is a hard game because
Yeah.
Southampton's
Yeah.
home,
Is
but
Troy
I
Deeney
think
playing?
I think
yeah,
Watford
Troy
should still
Deeney
come
will
up.
be there. Yeah,
That
and
could
I
be
think
a lot of
Watford.
physicality there.
I think Watford can do it. Pereira is ridiculously.
I mean,
good
Southampton
player.
has a
He's
chance.
going to be purchased by some big team either
Well,
in January or
I
the
don't
following.
know. He came from
Him along with
Juventus.
Hazard.
He came
The
from
double
he
sweep.
came from Juventus. He's been there, done that, and he's now a star of a team. Do you want to go to a big team and be just another
take what the gun
name?
is, mate.
That's fair enough though. Once you've played in those big teams in
Yeah.
those big leagues.
Do you want to be another name or do you want
How
to be
old
a
is he?
star?
How old is he?
I'm pretty sure he's getting on to the late 20s. I think 28. I'm thinking.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
But yeah, absolute beast.
Yeah, but
He's
now's
a
a better
beast.
time than I mean. He can always like go to a big team now and then like
Age like mine?
Yeah, and then come back later and star on a team.
Yeah. Like how Ronaldo's been
Del
doing.
Piero.
Del
Yeah.
Piero, mate.
Next
gotta time for the
game,
money.
Crystal Palace and the Ham Roll Spurs.
Oh, Spuds.
well.
Oh.
It's a
We
shame.
know who we'd rather win.
Crystal Palace. Go Crystal Palace.
But
It's a heart versus brain sort
No,
of.
you know what?
Yeah.
Wilfred Zaha all the way.
but
go, Lee.
it's got to be the Spurs. doesn't it?
Wilfred Zaha was a dog against us. You cost our winning streak. That was a die of the century.
Yeah.
But, right? But if
2-all
you
draw against the
2-all
Gunners.
draw, but if you can do something similar to Tottenham and put them to bed, I forgive you. We'll buy you.
Yeah, well, yeah, the Gunners' biggest rivals, the Spurs.
Oh, Spuds.
Ham rolls, man.
Ham rolls.
What a great team, the Spurs.
You probably support United. Oh, you
Coming from
do.
a City fan.
And tonight, tomorrow night's game, Liverpool and Fulham.
Oh, that's an easy
Well,
one.
it's,
gonna be-
Fulham all the
it's
way.
third versus last. Third versus
gonna
last.
be-
Fulham, they've been shipping in about 4
I
goals
reckon-
a game.
What's the goal difference, K-Dog, on that, you reckon?
The
With
goal
Liverpool and-
difference?
yeah.
Is Mitrovic going to score? I have him on my side.
I got rid of him.
I do as well.
The thing is, Liverpool can't find the back of the net at the moment, so it's hard to...
I reckon Fulham 1-0. Like
Oh,
a huge
no.
upset. Biggest upset of the
I'm
season.
thinking
Oh.
it's got to be at
We've
least
got an
2-0
easy team this
Liverpool.
I'm gonna say
gotta be at
nah,
least
I think
2-0 to
I
Liverpool.
think if the Gunners
say
can
that
be a
again?
5-1, you
have
can
an
easy
easy
team.
team
You can
this
go hiding.
Oh, must be the way
It's
next
at
week's fixtures,
Anfield.
eh?
It is at
One's at
Anfield.
hospital.
Let's go 3-0.
So-
Let's go 3-0.
I'm thinking 2 to 3-0.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
bastard Mo Salah must do something because I can't afford to get rid of him because he's
Yeah.
Chewing up some cash, isn't
Chewing
he?
up some
He
cash.
is definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
about
why I
to-
didn't bother. I thought Mane, he's gonna be playing the same amount of minutes and a lot cheaper, and he still scores goals, creates goals.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do we have there, mate?
And then on the Monday game,
Oh.
Monday midnight or Sunday night, sort of Monday morning,
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Everton. Pickford's been on form.
Yeah, Pickford's
Yeah.
quite a good keeper. Who's home?
Chelsea.
Look, I think, guys...
Stamford Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, Stamford Bridge. Yeah, well, Chelsea still undefeated
Chelsea's-
in the whole season. Haven't lost in Europe. Haven't lost in the
Yeah,
in the
Europa
League Cup.
Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
like one other team I know.
No, well,
I don't know.
but
I don't know what you're talking about.
they are the only team that are undefeated in all competitions.
Can I
Chelsea, only team in all of
City
Europe.
lost, bro, remember?
When?
They lost to Leon. Was it Leon?
They lost
Yeah.
to
I
Leon.
Yeah.
apologise. I
No,
take
sorry,
everything
but
half back. I'm
Chelsea
sorry.
are the only undefeated team
Can I say
after
something?
Juventus lost to United.
Okay, Chelsea could have lost against United. They could have lost against Arsenal.
They
Guys,
should have lost against United.
yeah, and Arsenal, if we could have
That's not
finished
good.
those goals on the second game of the season, it would have been lights out. I'm being unbiased. Okay, no, I'm not being unbiased. Screw it. I'm being straight up. You guys should have lost at Chelsea. What else do we have there, mate?
Alrighty.
Should only be one game
the
left,
mi-
I think.
2 games.
Is that? Okay.
Arsenal versus Wolves, and Arsenal's at home.
Oh,
Okay.
Decimation.
Wolves
Like-
actually drew to City. Massive game.
Yeah,
That
but
was
no,
fair.
That was a handball by Boney or whatever his
Yeah,
name
but do
is.
remember,
Polly,
Wolves are the team who
whatever.
take down
No,
big
but
But
yeah,
teams.
but
it's
Wolves
not
take down
about
big
scoring the
teams.
goals. It's about not conceding the goals. And if
Yeah.
they cannot concede, which Arsenal are
That's-
scoring too many goals.
Yeah, at the
even though
top
they
is-
didn't score against Sporting Lisbon, they are scoring too many goals. I can't see them not
Unless-
scoring at
unless
home.
United
Not
gets
Yang.
up.
No, but like the thing with Arsenal now is we've got guys. Football's a big thing for us. We have a podcast about this later on, but I just want to touch on this really quickly. We have now got a combination of midfield, Torreira and Xhaka, which is bringing it's allowing a distribution to go to Ozil. It's allowing a distribution to go to attackers.
Boom, boom, shaka laka.
That's it, man. Shaka laka boom boom is Xhaka sis laka zet. You know what'll be going through my head. We will be scoring goals, and I feel confident with now with Rob Holding at the back. Whether you're Shakran Mustafi
Really?
or Socrates, dude, come on, man.
I'm just joking,
Liverpool,
I'm just
man.
joking.
That is the attack of the Premier League. Kept them
Liverpool,
one goal.
yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Kept them one goal.
We kept them at 0.
Yeah, but that's money.
You also didn't score. That's the only time Man City
Mate,
hasn't scored
Are you kidding
this
me?
whole
It was
season.
bloody Mahrez. He skyrocketed it all up. If you put a goal on top of a goal, we still wouldn't go.
If
in.
I was
That's a
Pep Guardiola-
penalty. You should be creating chances other than
If I was Pep
penalties.
Guardiola, I would have
we were about
Yeah,
to
but
score, but
realistically-
Van Dijk did what he did. Again, not saying he shouldn't have done that because obviously, you guys say
defending
goal.
mindset.
Anyway,
The last one.
next game,
The big one?
the big one,
The big
the
one.
one that you all have been waiting for this weekend.
Oh,
Number
That
one versus
derby.
number last. Not jokes.
Wow,
I'm
that's
just
full of
joking.
what?
I'm
I thought it
joking.
was a derby this week.
It was the derby. Man City, team of the season
Oh.
versus Man United.
Versus this season's premiers, United.
Season's premiers.
They will be.
That's
Anytime.
big words, bro.
Coming from mid-table, we can barely hear you down in mid-table.
Can't
Wow,
see
it's
that
not even
far
that
down.
Like,
Really not that far down.
Okay, I think, guys. Okay, this is.
I think it's going to be Man City. I'm a Man City supporter. We've been doing it.
What's the score? Okay, what's the score?
What's the score?
Yeah.
It's a tight one.
Because you know the last time they came out,
They came back. They came back.
Right, and it was bloody Pogba, but he's not playing.
No, he could be playing. He
will.
could be playing.
Bloody Pogba.
He's-
And then,
he had
and
it
then
on.
we didn't have the pairing of Laporte at that time as well.
Yes.
We didn't have
now the best defender in the
in the
Premier
Premier League is Laporte, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have Mendy playing for us at that time as well.
yes out with the ACL injury.
Out with the ACL injury, and at the same time, we didn't have Silva as he's firing off now.
Yeah.
We didn't have Mahrez as well.
But you don't
So
have
we
De
and
Bruyne.
no
we didn't
Bernardo.
have De Bruyne.
Didn't have
No,
Bernardo
he's back.
Silva.
Is De Bruyne got another injury?
Yeah.
He's out
De
for...
Bruyne's gone.
He's
God.
He's
for a
gone for
while.
at least a month.
Yeah,
At
minimum.
least.
Oh, jeez.
So but what's your
Louise,
score?
man.
What's your score? No, what's your score? Let's go. What's your score?
No.
What's your
2-0.
score?
2-0.
Tyron 2-0 to City.
2-0.
That's generous, man.
Okay, Jay.
I mean, probably 2-0 at half
Can't
time.
argue.
We'll make a comeback.
Jay, what's your score?
I reckon it'll be
Oh, who cares? It doesn't matter.
a draw.
That
2-0.
jokes.
2-0. Okay, look, this is the thing, mate. Because the reason why I thought I asked them because they're
man, I thought
biased.
De Bruyne
We're a bit
was
more
playing.
objective. Although
Fair enough.
I know you think that United is a dog hole because of the rivalry between Liverpool and United. I think. Look, this is what I think. I think the odds are City winning, but I do think United. They're coming off. They were a fortunate to some extent winning against Juventus.
Yeah.
But I think they're a type of team that when they're playing Pogba and those sorts of guys as centre back, they're going to create some pretty crazy opportunities. I'm going to say probably City win, but I wouldn't be surprised if United win.
Honestly, I think City's defence
Too
won't allow United any breathing room, and I don't think United will be able to score.
My guy, Kay.
I
My
don't
guy.
think United will be able to score, and City can definitely.
Mate, did you see
score
the
some
Champions League?
pass.
Guys?
Yeah.
Did you see the Champions League?
I did.
6-0.
I did.
Yeah.
6-0.
Yeah.
With Jesus getting that hat trick.
Yeah.
I don't think Jesus will be playing. He'll probably come in
Good
as
for
a
Aguero will
sub.
come in, and I'll
but-
captain Aguero this time. Not
Oh, really? Wow.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
a big call. But I can see at least a 2-0 win, I think.
Yeah, that's why I just want to keep it sort of as a minimum. All right, guys, thank you for listening to our Vibranium podcast or podcast of Vibranium. I don't know. Look, it's pretty late out down here. Look, like our video or podcast, subscribe, and comment down below anything you want to sort of want us to cover on our next podcast, and we shall accommodate. Thank you for listening. It's J, K, Ray, and Tyrone signing off from the Vibranium podcast. Mate, it's late. Just cut it.
And we'll be back at you soon.